All right, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Boomer Backfield from Happy Sunday afternoon. Thank God. Praise God.
Praise Lord, oh my soul.
I am Colby Routh.
I'm Spencer May.
I'm Kylan Lacaze.
And this is our, I would say, instant reaction. We had a plane flight this morning from Auburn, Alabama. Spencer got back last night around 1. So this is our first time talking about it together, if that helps at all.
I guess you call that instant reaction.
I guess, yeah. I think it's like a fair...
How many hours has it been?
It's almost... The game kicked
Too
off
many.
24 hours ago, so...
It's a 20-hour reaction.
20-hour reaction.
20-hour reaction.
20 hours.
And that's after spending probably 7 on Twitter,
Yeah.
being a Twitter goblin.
Yeah, it's been a Twitter goblin kind of night.
Dude, I've never posted on Twitter, and I think I posted 4 times yesterday.
Dude, I've never seen Colby Routh pop up so many times.
I know.
Like,
Well, I don't ever post on. That's the
know.
thing. Like, I think the last time I posted was like a repost of Bryce Madron committing to OU like 3 years ago. Like, I just don't ever post on it,
jeez.
and I was a little frustrated, and I had to let my thoughts out.
Fair.
And I figured if we're starting a podcast, like, I might as well
I mean,
like,
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
use the platform,
That's
right?
nice.
And be honest here, not
Eventually,
being
bro.
don't shy away.
People are going to be waiting to see our tweets
That's
about the
facts.
OU football game.
That's facts.
That's wild, dude.
One day.
You are the people.
One day.
Yeah, one day
One day.
it's gonna happen at some point.
We're going to be providing the good news.
It's going to be Woj Bomb. Instead, it's going to be Boomer Bomb.
Boomer Bomb.
Hey, that's kind of tough.
That's kind of tough. Trademark.
Trademark.
I trademarked that, guys.
Boomer bomb. Yeah, that's kind of sick.
Boomer.
Or like a backfield bomb. Well, backfield bomb.
Dude, they would. That's
Wait.
SWAT. Bro, SWAT's going to come. Heard you guys have a bomb?
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 Bomb.
Bomb?
Bomb.
God.
All right. So I think before we get into OU, can we just talk about the night and day of college football that we had yesterday?
Boy, oh boy.
And this is why we love it.
We're going to do a
This is why we love college
Around the
football.
world, we
Is
started
is
off,
days
man.
like Saturday.
Right.
Like, I want to do around the world first. Like,
All right, let's do around
this
the
is
world.
why we love it.
I'm actually with
Days
that.
like yesterday.
Because around the world,
Oh
I was
my
going to say
gosh.
we need to cover around the world because
Yeah.
today or yesterday was crazy.
Well, I
And
think. Or go ahead.
it started out Friday night.
Yeah.
So
Dude.
we'll go ahead and start with that.
That was so
Miami
sad.
down against Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech driving down the field, had like 3 seconds on the clock, and they throw it down. Hail Mary. Did he catch the ball? Did he not catch the ball? Nobody knows. But they called it a touchdown on the field.
And then they.
Review it. It took 5.5 minutes for them to review, which in my opinion,
If it takes that long.
if it takes more than 5 minutes to review a play, you're not out there finding indisputable evidence.
Exactly.
So how are you overturning it? My opinion, Hokies got robbed on Friday night.
Yeah. I completely agree. I was going to say the exact same thing. It's like you watch the replay. There's no indisputable evidence that he dropped it. None. And if they take that long, 5.5 minutes, they got robbed, dude. That's so sad. Keep the Miami hype going, man. I'm
that's
not
what's-
live for it.
It's literally all about. I mean, everyone says the NFL scripted, but you can't tell me you have every ref in college football doesn't have something like they probably had a couple
Yeah.
bucks on Miami.
You're telling me all of them are non-biased?
Yeah, like I don't know.
Come
I like,
on now.
I like Boston College. Like,
Come
no,
on.
you don't.
Where'd they go to school?
Like, let's see. But I mean, still, I agree. I think we're all on the same page.
Yeah.
They're robbed. Virginia Tech. I mean, you do all that, and you're gonna go beat Miami, and then like they looked heartbroken. They showed like the reactions, and I think Cam Ward like in that team knew like we just got bailed.
Yeah.
We just got bailed.
Oh,
bad.
yeah.
But I mean, what can you do? That was exciting, but Saturday got a little more exciting. I'll tell you that.
Dude.
Do y'all want to start with the Big 12? Because Arizona last night,
Put it on them.
while everybody's watching Georgia, Alabama,
Yep.
Arizona beat Utah.
At Utah.
Oklahoma State loses to Kansas State yesterday. BYU is still undefeated. Iowa State is still undefeated. So let's go to the AP poll that dropped this morning, right? Who is the best Big 12 team in the AP poll? Number 16, Iowa State. Number 17, BYU. Number 18, Utah.
Jeez.
Iowa State and BYU are the two best teams in the Big 12. Who would have ever seen that?
That's crazy. BYU is crazy.
Crazy.
They weren't bad last year. I mean, ish. Like, they almost beat us,
Mm-hmm.
But, like, who would have thought that those two teams, Iowa State, they were Garbo last year.
Yeah.
And now
Did they
they're, like, that's wild.
No, it's still that
Good for
quarterback.
them.
I was like, did they get Mr. Deckers? Deckers?
I don't think so. I don't even
No,
know.
it's,
I
it's
have
the
no
guy. It's
idea.
like Rocco Becht or whatever. I think it's still their
I have no
quarterback.
idea what's going on up there. I couldn't tell you what is happening
Yeah.
in Ames, Iowa, but just a crazy situation. I think Joel Klatt put it best preseason.
Yeah.
He said the Big 12 are going to eat themselves up
Yeah.
Yeah.
and ruin their playoff chances,
Yeah.
except they have to get a playoff spot. And that's
Yeah.
the beauty of the 12-team playoff is that even though the Big 12 is so competitive that they're eating themselves up, one of them has to come out of there alive, which is cool. I still think it'll be Utah, but
Yeah. That is cool.
But yeah, that's cool. What else happened yesterday?
Ole Miss.
Ole Miss loses to Kentucky. That was
to
fire.
Kentucky. Dude, Kentucky's a problem. Like,
Yeah, they've been causing problems.
they almost beat Georgia. They beat Ole Miss on the road.
You know what they need
Number
to
6
do?
Ole Miss.
Come to
And
the
you know
soup.
who they play?
Texas.
Texas.
They played Texas on like the second to last week of the season, but it's at Texas. But
Ooh-wee.
they were at Ole Miss. But
Yeah.
Ole Miss drops to 12. They dropped 6 spots.
That's kind of BS. How many? I mean, I get it. Like, Ole Miss is good, but how many teams are ahead of us that have lost to unranked teams?
Mm-hmm.
Our one loss was to now number
Four.
5 or 4, Tennessee.
So we can. I'll go through it right now. Utah's 4-1.
They're
So we're
18.
4-1, right?
Yeah.
Utah's 4-1. They lose to unranked Arizona.
So there's one team.
Clemson, they've lost to Georgia. I'll give them that. Notre
That's
Dame,
fair.
they're 4-1. They lost to
NIU.
NIU. At home.
Ole Miss, they're ahead of us. They lost to Kentucky.
Unranked Kentucky.
USC, who did USC lose to? LSU. No,
Oh,
they
no,
both-
No.
LSU.
They lost to Michigan.
That's right.
They lost to Michigan.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. But yeah, I mean, there's what 3?
So there's 3 already right there. That's just off the
Yeah.
top of your head.
Well, that's
So-
that's it.
Yeah.
Oh, is that it?
That's
Okay.
it. Yeah.
Well,
But still,
3 teams, and how are they all ahead of us? And
Yeah.
our losses to the number, what are they 4? Is Tennessee officially 4 or 5?
they're officially number 4
So
team in the
we lost to the number 4 team in the country, and 3 teams ahead of us
Yeah.
with unranked losses. I just don't.
Yeah.
I don't get
will
it.
say this.
I don't.
You can't get a good ranking just by having good losses without having any good wins.
Yeah.
We don't
Yeah.
even. I'm gonna be honest. All of our wins are disgusting, so they're not like good wins. So I'll give
Yeah.
the AP poll that. But
Yeah.
Also,
anything
the
else
Big 12,
crazy?
I would. It's not gonna pay me to do this, but gotta shout out them boys from Boulder. They went
Yep.
into UCF.
You know,
How about them?
so I was gonna say that
They
if you
went
actually
crazy.
if you go on the standings for the Big 12 standings, it's number 1 BYU because they're 2-0 in the conference. Number 2 Colorado and number 3 Texas Tech. Colorado's they're 4-1 and they're 2-0 in conference, and UCF is like they're not
But,
they're pretty legit.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not
So-
terrible.
Yeah.
So let's
Yeah,
look
they're
at I'm
not
gonna look at
terrible.
Colorado's schedule real quick.
Almost beat us last year too.
I know they got O State
Should
last
have.
game of the year.
Yeah.
Huh?
I said Colorado has O State last game of the year.
So they're on a bye week
Yeah.
this week with us. Next, after that, they will have Kansas State at home.
If they beat K State.
Who? Colorado?
Colorado. We're talking about Colorado, yeah. And then they go on the road to Arizona the week after that. So they have
Ooh,
a
that's
tough schedule ahead. And it doesn't get any better. I'm going to be honest. They end the season with a really tough schedule too. So
Dude, that's why this year's like, this is the most exciting year of college football I think I've ever seen.
exactly.
There's so many marquee matchups. There's so much like on the line every game. Like
Facts.
it is the most exciting year of college football.
Yeah, and here's what I'll say, like to that, add on to that is like, okay, like, yes, last year Kansas State, Colorado in 2 weeks would have been a cool game to watch, but guess what? Nobody would care because there is zero playoff implication
Exactly.
at all in that
Yeah.
game. Last year there would have been no playoff implication in the number 20 Kansas State Wildcats at the Colorado Bowl. Nobody would have cared.
Yeah.
But now they both still have a very, very legitimate playoff spot if they win the Big 12 championship, which they both can do. So, yeah, that's what I love about this year is meaningful games are being played all the time, all
Every
Saturday
weekend,
long.
dude.
Yep.
Every
They're getting
weekend.
played on Friday night.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
literally.
Meaningful games are getting
Yeah.
played on every Friday night.
Yeah.
Every single Friday night, there is like a big marquee matchup that has playoff implications. So yeah, 12-team playoff haters gotta go.
Kick rocks.
Go kick.
It
I
works.
was about to say that. Oh.
And then let's go ahead. We gotta talk about
The game.
We gotta talk about the game.
The game.
The
And
game.
It's not the OU game.
What did y'all think
It's
about
the
it?
Georgia-Bama game.
Georgia Dogs. Wow. That was me and Kylan, so let me give you a reference. We got cookout 2 times yesterday.
No, he didn't. He's lying.
And we got 2 trays the second
He's
time.
lying. Mama, he lying.
I've never had cookout. I gotta go.
Mama, he not lying.
2 trays. So we're sitting on our beds. We just got to the
Cookout.
hotel,
Uh-huh.
the Hilton Garden Inn by Jackson Hartfield Airport, whatever it is. And we're sitting down and we turn on the Georgia Bama game.
Yeah.
And as soon as we turn on the TV, we sat down. I open up my cheeseburger. I take a bite, and I see Carson Beck air one out,
Bomb.
40 yards down the field, a streaker out. Georgia takes the lead,
Yeah.
and we're like, "Oh my gosh!" I'm like, my burger's halfway in my mouth. Oh my gosh, we're going crazy. I eat my burger, take a few bites. Commercial break passes. Jalen Miller comes out on the field. Very next play,
Ryan Williams.
Ryan Williams and me and Kylan are losing it. We're like, what is happening? Ryan Williams catches the ball, stops, was full sprint, stops on a dime. Georgia defenders run into each other, and his acceleration, I mean, he is unbelievable. He's the star at Bama, and he's 17 years old. Scores a touchdown, wins the game. It was just the craziest, turn on the TV. I just want to eat a cheeseburger and watch some good football. And I think I just watched the 2 most electric plays I've ever seen in my entire life live. It was crazy.
I don't know, maybe we can insert this into the video, but that's me at 17. That's me. That right
17.
there is me at 17 years old. And Ryan Williams just put up 6 catches for 177
Make
yards
sure it's still focused.
in a tutty versus Georgia. And we were the same age in that picture. He's the most ridiculous receiver I've ever seen.
Yeah.
He's
At that age,
dude,
like,
he looks like a junior, man. He's insane.
and I don't
It's
know if
crazy.
y'all saw his nose tape. It says
Kill everybody.
Kill everybody.
Kill everybody.
Did you see the picture that was
And
like
it's like
him?
the Psalms?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the duality of man.
I was like,
With the Bible verse.
that game was insane. And after seeing Alabama Stadium, I said, oh boy, next year is going to be ridiculous.
It's one of those things where it makes you wonder, was the stadium that crazy just because it was Georgia, or is it normally like that?
It's everything, like the lights,
You know, the
clips
red
and
light.
lights,
Oh,
you're like,
dude,
whoa.
they have the jumbotrons in
Yeah.
each corner,
Yeah.
or something like that, dude.
Yeah.
It's.
I mean,
Oh,
when you have a
man.
dynasty, you're going to get upgrade after upgrade after upgrade.
That's the thing is
Yeah.
we kind of got the easier road schedule this year. I'm not gonna lie, which is just
Yeah.
crazy to say that our schedule. We're like at the beginning of the season, we're like, God, we have the hardest schedule. It's so much harder next year. So much harder
It
next
does.
year. It gets way harder
You have to go
Yeah.
to Tennessee.
because we flip all the home and aways, which makes our schedule way worse. Because we go to Tennessee, go to Alabama, but then you also add Michigan in the non-conference.
Go to Carolina. Carolina's a really hard place to play.
So
A really hard place to play.
I think,
Yeah.
just brutal.
Dude, it's oh man, yeah, that Georgia game was just nuts.
Plus, I think we
It
add
was so crazy.
we add an away game and we lose a home game next year because of OU Texas will be
Or is it
considered.
not that just a way? That's
Well, I know, but that means in the SEC schedule that we get an extra away game and we lose a home game because the SEC built our schedule based around that. If that makes any sense.
But aren't we home this year technically
Mhm.
versus OU Texas? I thought we were home. So next year, wouldn't we just be away?
Are we home this year?
Mhm.
Pretty sure we're home.
We're home
Because
because
that
we
would
we won in Wyatt last year
Yeah.
with Dylan and Nick.
So how did we end up with 7 home games?
Well, we only have 3.
So
conference.
we have 8 home games this year. That is
Well,
insane.
Like
Yeah,
7.
technically,
we have
Yeah,
8
yeah.
home games. and 4
technically
away
8 home games. Yeah,
How did that happen? That's crazy.
yeah. I don't.
I have no
Yeah, we don't. We really don't go on the road, other than Texas. We only have 3 away games.
That's
Yeah.
crazy. We
So
have a
that's
true
wild.
8-4 home away. That's crazy.
Yeah, we got 7. Yeah, 7 games in the Palace.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying.
7
Is next
games.
year
That's crazy.
we probably won't have 8-4. I don't think so. Plus we have Michigan.
We got Michigan here, Temple there, and then I guess so 2 of our 3. I guess we have 4 non-cons.
We're at Temple.
Yeah, we're going
What's
to
that
Philly.
game that's playing at, what is that? Bank of whatever that is.
Going to Philly. Going to
Lincoln
the.
Financial, I think it is. or
Yeah,
whatever.
going
That
to
is
Eagles
so
game.
ridiculous.
Yeah, we talked
bro.
about that in the pod.
Yeah.
Oh, we did. I forgot
Did
about
we talk
that.
about it in the pod, or I thought it might have
It might have just been a conversation.
Ben
Because I
Sands.
remember you told me, and then I was
Yeah.
like,
Dude, that's so ridiculous, bro. Why are we going to Philadelphia to play Temple?
that's kind of fun. I mean, that's kind of fire, bro. To play in the Eagle Stadium.
Playing Eagles.
Oh, is it in the Eagle Stadium? Okay,
Yeah.
well that's cool, but it'd be cool to play in the Eagle Stadium versus like at least
We also have
somebody.
we have to go to Houston at some point too.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, that's so buns, dude.
Yep.
That might be like a main game or something that we throw in week 10 or something. I don't know.
That's fair.
But even then, Houston, I mean, they almost beat us. So.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's just weird to think that the schedule might get harder next year because we literally, I mean, Auburn and Ole Miss away games compared to Tennessee and Alabama away games, that's a different world. That's an actual different world. Like yesterday was crazy. I'll say that
My
environment
notes
was
up.
pretty great, but we wouldn't have came back if that Alabama and that Nylander and Bryant Denny with that atmosphere.
Yeah,
That's a whole different level in my opinion.
dude.
But-
I think we got to stay real quick before we get into the OU postgame analysis. Kylan had the correct offensive score for us in our score predictions last week. Yay!
Let's go. The effect on me when I spark. Can you put the so I sparkle my teeth?
Yeah, I'll see what I can do. Yeah, he predicted that we would score 27 points. Their score was off, and all of ours was, but
What did I say they were going to score?
10, I think. I think it was 27-10 is what you said.
Jeez.
Which, I mean, that was before Peyton Thorne put on a Heisman performance.
True.
So, I mean, he played like buns all year and then decided to be, Tim Tebow and Baker
Johnny
Mayfield
Manziel,
and Kyler Murray all in one. So, but yeah, with that being said, I mean, I think we get into the game.
Auburn.
Yeah. I'll let you guys go first and I'll kind of pitch in.
Kind of like, this is my opinion, the exact opposite of last week, where you win, but you kind of feel a little happy about it. You're like, okay, like I saw flashes. I saw flashes of greatness. To me, or we lost last week, but we saw flashes of greatness. This week is the exact opposite, where it's like
We won.
we won, but I saw flashes of this team being terrible.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna put my OU goggles off and just look at it. Like if I just watch that game as a non-OU fan, because it's really easy to get caught up in like, I believe in this team because I still for some reason think we can go to OU Texas and win that game, which is probably ridiculous.
After Michael scored that touchdown, you
Yeah.
said we're winning the Natty.
Well, I say that every week.
Yeah, I know.
Anytime we take a lead, I'm like, we're winning the national championship. But yeah, I remember we were up. It was like 3-3 on Tennessee, and I was like, we scored. It's tied.
Yeah.
We're winning the national championship.
Yes.
But anyways, yeah, lots of flashes of just terrible yesterday. I thought what I'll give us. I read this stat on the pregame pod. Number 6 in plays of 20 yards plus, number 4 in plays 30 yards plus, goes up the list. Like they're really good at explosive plays. So I'm not actually too upset that we gave up some big explosive plays.
Yeah. It's fair.
I think like I'm questioning why that BV offense or BV defense like just blew up at times. Like there was corners getting one-on-ones. There's no safety in sight, and the corners are getting cooked. Why is that happening? I don't know. But
Woody.
I will.
Not just him.
I'll put that off
100%.
as okay. This is one of the best explosive offenses in the country. I will give them that excuse. What I'm mad at our defense about is that we created obviously we created like the biggest turnover.
Yeah.
But like I was like, why are we not creating havoc at all? They're having no issues.
Yeah.
And I think my kind of key to the game for that game was we need to create turnovers. The explosive plays are going to happen. That's how it is. When you play those offenses, it's how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
But what you have to do when those turnovers or when those big plays happen is create enough havoc to where the turnover margin comes in your favor and cancels out those explosive plays. And we didn't do that at all. Yes, technically, we had the one that did it for us. did all for us, but we did not do it enough, and that's what made us, I'll go ahead and say it. Auburn gave that game away.
Sure did.
We should we should not have won that game.
Hugh Freeze.
And so they blew that game, and so in my opinion, defense definitely should have caused more havoc and created more turnovers, and that's a big issue. I'm actually not too mad at the offense. I'll save the offense for later on. Let y'all talk first.
Do you want to go? Okay. Defense looked terrible yesterday. This is one note that I put in my notes just during the game. Billy Loki got bullied like all game. Did you see that touchdown that the tight end had?
Yeah.
And he caught over Billy with the PI and he stood over him. It's like, Billy, man, come on. Yeah, the defense, I remember the whole point is like Auburn was leading the SEC in the turnover margin on offense, and we were like leading the SEC or the country at one point at forcing turnovers. And so I was like, we're gonna get like 6 picks or like something insane. And I don't remember having a sack until like the fourth quarter. Maybe we did, but I don't like remember that being in the stadium. I just remember thinking the whole time, why is our defense not creating pressure? Why does Peyton Thorne look like the Heisman right now?
Yeah.
Why is he throwing dots? Why are we air raiding and getting our corners cooked? Why is the run game just bullying us? They ran the ball down our throats. And that going back to like that last drive, I'm shocked that we got the pick. I'm shocked that they threw it. They were running the ball so well the entire game. I mean, they had, what do they have? It says 144 rushing yards. I bet a lot of that is just marked down too because of sacks like later in the game. But like, it was just, it just felt like they were running the ball down our throats and we could not stop them. So I'm shocked that they threw the ball in the last play. But regardless, our defense just they didn't look good. And I was really expecting more turnovers. And I mean, yes, Kip saved the day when it mattered the most, but
you shouldn't need that to happen.
But as I'm saying, with our defense, it's like I think we all are in consensus that up until that game, I think we were a national championship contending defense. Like you could win a national championship with that defense. And now after that game, I'm like, dude, they didn't force a single turnover until the last 6 minutes of the game or whatever, 4 minutes of the game. Like
they were giving up big plays.
Weren't stopping the run game. Peyton Thorne was dicing them up with the pass game. They were moving the ball, I mean, literally the entire game. I mean, they had 482 total yards. Yeah. I mean, like, that's just not good.
I'm going to do some quick statistics. One, the yards, 482 to 291. Again, we had no business winning that game. Yeah. They almost had double our yards. But here's my big issue is Arkansas held them to 14 in Auburn. California in Auburn held them to 14. And we gave up 21. Defense was just not cooking at all.
And we talked the whole week for the pregame is how much better our defense was than Cal and Arkansas. That's what we talked about the whole week and how we're going to hold them to 6 points or 3 points. They beat it. What's crazy is they beat us in every statistic. Total yards, passing yards, rushing yards, time of possession, and first downs. They literally blew the game.
But
they blew the game.
BV, you are right once again. We are now, I think, 14-0 in the Brent Venables era.
Win the turnover.
When you win the turnover margin.
Yep.
It's unbelievable, actually.
That's a crazy,
but it's true.
Crazy stat.
You win the turnover margin, you win the dang game.
Yeah, that was nuts. I'll let you go, Colin.
Yeah. I'm going to be not on the opposite side because I agree, but I think y'all are giving the defense too hard of a time. They gave up 21 points. They have carried us in every other singular
game they have
all season long, and we might have 2 wins. If the defense played like they did yesterday, we might have 2 wins.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. I think Tulane, actually, we probably only have 1 win, and it's Temple. I personally, Auburn's averaging 23.5 points a game. We give up pretty much their average. And in the SEC, you give up 21. I mean, but I feel like that's because I feel like no one in the country is going to come out and say Georgia's defense is garbage. And they gave up 41 to Bama. So I just don't, obviously the Auburn and Bama are not the same offense. I get that.
Yeah.
But I think, and I tweeted it out and I said the defense plays, because I don't necessarily think we played bad. It was just we haven't if you've never watched any other game, you'd be like, okay, like there's a couple plays here and there. You're like, all right, whatever. But then you look at the scoreboard. It's not like we gave up 45 points.
Yeah.
So I think the defense should not have to be held. Obviously, yeah, you want them to go out every single game and give up 2 tutties or less, but that's not realistic.
Yeah.
I don't think it's realistic. And I can't sit here and say that I was pissed off yesterday. At least I was like, this defense is whatever. But then I was really sitting there. I'm like, if you have to backpack a whole team for the first 4 games of the season, and then everyone's come for your head because you give up 3 tutties, I'd be like, guys, I literally saved us. Like, we literally saved us for multiple games.
Yeah.
I think there were players yesterday that played. Danny played awful yesterday, and I think he had 4 tackles.
He had a lot of missed tackles.
And that's what it was.
He had a lot of missed tackles.
Yesterday was, I think, more than Tennessee, was a welcome to the SEC moment because their back, I forgot his name. Jarquez Hunter.
Dude.
I think he's a junior. Is he a junior or senior? I don't know.
I have no idea, but he's really good.
If he enters the portal, please somebody go get him. Yeah. We have to go get him because he was running through people. I mean,
I saw him truck Danny like a few times.
He trucked probably everybody.
Yeah.
So
it was bad.
I was like, wow. And I think now you understand. Like, okay. So we can't. And we've gotten so much better at tackling compared to Lincoln Riley days where we were literally teaching them to, like, ankle swipe. And now, like, we have correct, form tackles. Billy led the team with 8 tackles yesterday. As much as it was like, I saw him. I would agree. Yeah, he did get bullied on that, but also that tight end, like, I don't know what 5'10" guy. That tight end's probably like 6'5", and he runs like a little pop pass.
Yeah,
and Billy has to run back and try and. It's just I just think it's a hard thing to cover, in my opinion. But still, he was in probably the wrong position to start out with. He has a better chance if he's in the right position.
Yeah.
But defense definitely the worst showing so far this year, but I don't necessarily think it was bad. It was just we've relied on them. It would just be like a couple years ago, if our offense only put up like 28 points, we'd be like, they suck.
Yeah.
They suck. So that's my take on the defense. I don't think that will happen. Probably, maybe it might happen another time, but I wouldn't be like, I'm not in like panic mode like I was for the offense.
No.
I think
not at all.
BV probably spent a lot of time working with the offense, and that's natural. It's 18 to 22, 23-year-old guys. Your head coach is in there, and it's probably like, I can probably get away with some other stuff, and then the discipline, all that, kind of flies out the window a little bit. But I expect us to be, these next 12, 13 days, we'll get back on track, and I think Texas got something coming for them.
I just worry you give up. It's not even the points or the touchdowns that I'm like, oh, we gave up 21 points. I just worry you can't. Number 1 turnover offense in the country. They had 14 turnovers coming into this game. That was tied for the number 1 in the country, and we got 1. And
against the team who was number 1 in the SEC.
Yeah. Number 1 in the country.
For giving up turnovers.
No, they were the number 1 in the country for giving them up.
Oh, wowza.
And we were the number 1 in the country for getting them. It was literally
the opposite.
It was like literally
we should win that every time.
We had the biggest gap advantage you could possibly have, and we got 1. I don't know. The main issue for me with the defense is like that was the best you're going to get for the rest of the year, except for obviously Maine. That's the best it's going to get. That was as easy as it's going to get on defense. South Carolina will be better than Auburn.
Yeah.
Maybe it's at home. You're going to get that crowd advantage, but when you're talking about skill and you're talking about how they played so far this season, that was the easiest you're going to get, other than Maine, for the rest of the year. And so if we're holding them to 21, we're only getting 1 turnover, we got a lot coming. We got road Ole Miss. We got Alabama, who we just saw is crazy. If we're giving up 21 and not barely getting turnovers against Auburn, Alabama they have something coming for us. Texas, they have something coming for us. That's what I'm worried about. If we were in the Big 12 and we had that was our hard game, and now we have a kind of easy schedule for the rest of the year, I'd be like, we're doing great. We're going to the Big 12 championship. Let's go. But we're not in that anymore. We are up with the big dogs. We have to actually play now.
Yeah.
And that was bad.
Yeah.
Things were bad.
Yeah, that's exactly how I feels like. It's not chaos or panic mode. It's more so just that was the worst defensive outing we've had all year, when we should have probably had our best defensive outing.
Yes.
All year.
It should have been. Best.
If they're the number one team in all of college football of turning over downs, that means Tulane is better, Houston's better, Temple's even better at not giving up turnovers, and we had one. And really, to be honest, I will not take Kip's thunder because he won us the game, but the play call was horrible. I mean, they were running the ball down our throats. They should have just kept running the ball. Like they should not have passed the ball on that, especially because they're trying to drain the clock.
Yeah.
And they were moving the ball, running the ball down the field. So I don't know why they threw it there. I'm happy they did because we got the pick. But in all reality, if that was a good play call, they probably would have run the ball, and I don't know if we would have got a turnover other than, that. So, yeah. I mean, 21 in Auburn at home is good, but just like Spencer said, it's just like that. That's the easiest it's going to get. Literally, out of every game that we have this entire season, better than Maine. Mm-hmm. I mean, Maine has a lower turnover margin if Auburn's number one. So
I just think,
yeah, I don't know.
Like,
stinks.
I'm going off of scheme and watching what Auburn did. They didn't put themselves any play that they ran, because I want to say they had 14 turnovers coming to the game.
Right?
Right?
14,
and I think 12 of them are picks or I don't know how many. I know Peyton Thorne had
they gotta be something like that,
and then Hank Brown has 4.
I can look it up
or something. Yeah, look that up. Fact check. But
you're probably right. I just want to see myself. Yeah.
I just think that what they were running, the schemes that they were running, it was almost like Hugh Freeze probably was like, I'm putting you in a position that way you don't, because a lot of stuff it was the quick perimeter, whatever, because their receivers were cooking. When blocking, they would throw a wide receiver screen and then and the only time Peyton Thorne was really airing it out is if the guy was just booty naked wide open. So it's how do you create a turnover? Yeah. What's the
9 interceptions passing?
So that what the
six. Peyton had 6 on the season. Okay. Peyton had 6 interceptions. They had 9 total. They had 5 fumbles.
5 fumbles. So, I mean, we should have gotten fumbles, I will say. But, I mean,
they had a fumble, and then they recovered it for a first down.
Yeah, that's right.
That was so ridiculous, dude.
What?
Brutal.
But, I mean,
that happens.
I just think the scheme, football, they schemed because they knew, this team creates turnovers. We're not going to let – I just feel like he didn't – I saw him throw it, but it was never – it was quick little whatever.
But that's what weird is they had
DBs. I think our DBs were getting just beat. So it was how do you force? Most of the time we create turnovers. We don't ever really go up and get turnover. It's the worst throw. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like Billy will just come across the field and it's a terrible ball, and he's just
yeah.
But I just think our DBs were just in the wrong position pretty much all game.
They were in the wrong position.
It made Peyton Thorne. Peyton Thorne didn't make a lot of tough throws.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy's running wide open. I mean, I could have thrown that.
Yeah. Well, the only thing that's interesting about that, though, is that they had 338 passing yards. And so if your quarterbacks have thrown a total of 9 interceptions, you lead the country in turnovers. Why are you throwing the football for 338 yards against the number one turnover defense with an amazing elite secondary? That's why I'm their scheme, it's I don't understand how they did it. Because their scheme, if your scheme is to throw the ball, that is a horrible scheme to run against OU. Because they've thrown 9 picks, but it's obviously it worked for them. If you're 338 yards. And I think what it comes down to is the corners getting beat.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Their scheme of throwing the ball is a terrible idea because they throw 9 picks. But if they attack our corners one-on-one, that's what they did. They attacked our corners one-on-one. That's why we had a pick on the right side. Who was that? Was it RSJ? or not a pick. I mean a touchdown on the first big bomb that they
I
threw.
think it's Kenai.
Kenai Walker. Yeah, Des Malone.
right there.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Des Malone. And then Kenai got cooked. Des Malone got cooked twice on 2 big plays over like 15 yards. That was something to walk out for.
Well, here's my
but
thing.
Kenai, he
Here's
got
my
burned
thing.
at some point. I don't know.
Most of the time that corners get absolutely cooked, there's a big explosive play. And unless like, I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to say is a lot of times you kind of need to look at the defensive coordinator first, because there was one explosive play. It wasn't that one. That one was, he just got beat. But there was one explosive play that I remember. I think it was Kenai. But anyway, they're on the right side of the field. Kenai's lined up like outside.
Yeah.
And so usually you would think like there's got to be a safety somewhere inside, right?
Yeah.
So obviously the wide receiver runs. Kenai's still kind of outside, obviously,
Like the little corner,
and then goes
post
boom,
there,
and
right.
just nobody's there. Nobody's
Yeah.
there. And I was like, maybe the sideline screaming, go, like, maybe it was just a messed up and like the sideline screaming. But in my opinion, it's like, Allie, BV, how are you letting that happen? Like that was like, I'm not like the sharpest football mind, and I can easily see like you gotta. That's just a terrible
Gaping hole.
You're setting yourself up terribly right there.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm not like gonna go one by one and knock these corners for getting burnt.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it is like, why did the defense?
Where's the safety?
Like,
Where's the safety?
if your bread and butter is explosive plays, but your bread and butter is but your fault is also turnovers, then we should be cutting that out so fast, because if you're throwing the ball downfield, that's where the room for error starts. That's where you make mistakes. So I don't know. It was what I think my summary for this whole game defensively is: we had a bad game. I don't think there's any way around saying that it was a really bad game for the defense. It's just got to get better. And then, we've seen in the Lincoln Riley days, OU offenses will go out and can't put up 28 on Temple or Tulane. And then the next week they go and put up 68 on Texas Tech or something crazy. So, happens with defenses too. Hopefully, and here's the thing. Bye week, Texas, I think they're going to come out as their best self.
Quinn's back. Yeah.
Well, no, I'm saying like the defense will come out. There's no way they're going to come out like lacking at all. So
who will be back? Will we have?
I don't know. God, I don't know.
That's what I'm saying.
That we can get into that. A little later, but
Also, shout out. We've been dogging the defense for 20 minutes.
I was gonna say, we should let's move to something positive.
Another classic BV defense goal line stand.
Absolutely. Oh,
yeah.
So it's just I don't even get nervous. I honestly get more nervous if they're like the 15.
Yes.
But if you got 3 or less yards, you're cooked.
It's funny because when they're at the 5 or 6, I get nervous. But when they're on that 4th and inches on the goal line, I'm like, here we go.
You're not getting that.
I love when they get the 3rd down stop. And Kip comes out, runs to the 50-yard line. Nah.
Dude.
And then they all go line up, and they get in there.
Dude.
They get the leg kicking. Oh, my God.
Kip belongs in a freaking loony bin, bro.
Yes.
He is a psychopath. Did you see him after his pick? Gah!
He ran out of gas, but...
Gah! After the game, he runs over the sideline, throws his helmet.
He's losing his mind.
Dude, he looked like... what's the name from Ghostbusters? Slimer.
They just called him Slimer.
Yeah. He's a psychopath. He's a lunatic.
I love Kip.
I love Kip Lewis, dude.
It's a shame that we lost
Kip, hooray.
Kendall, because Kip and Kendall were like just perfect. Like the energy.
And Kylan.
Oh. But that energy at linebacker was a lot of fun. The linebacker nickel duo there was crazy.
Well, should we, since we're shifting to a positive note, should we talk about Kip's pick? Dude. Wow.
Yeah.
Talk about, so that's what I was going to bring up, is we didn't have a turnover all game to that point, and I remember thinking on the field, I was like, if we're going to have a turnover, it has to be now. It has to be now. Because at that point, Auburn was up 16-21. They started the ball with 7 minutes on the quarter. They drained it down to like 4:03 or something like that before they snapped that play. Running the ball down their throats. They're waiting to snap the ball. Like they would break the huddle at like 10 seconds. Wait just to burn the clock. I was like, oh my gosh. If they're going to if they're gonna get a turnover, it has to be now. And then that drive.
Yeah.
Couple plays, I think after I was thinking that, Peyton Thorne throws the ball, Kip catches it. We all jump up, lose our mind. I didn't think Kip was gonna beat. I didn't think he was going all the way.
He ran out of gas.
Because it looked like he was slowing down.
He ran out of gas.
And he got there, and the receiver tackled him, but he kind of tackled him into the end zone, and he went
freshman
ballistic, dude. But
silly.
I mean, this might be a crazy take, but I think Kip might have just potentially saved our bowl season with that play. Because when you really think about it, if we lose to Auburn on the road, we got Texas the next week, our spirits are down. We've lost back-to-back SEC games going in to play the number 2 now team who's going to have Quinn and all their guys back. Then you got Carolina, who isn't bad. It's I don't know. You can go down the whole rabbit hole.
We went down that schedule rabbit hole last week.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have looked good if we lost to Auburn.
Yeah, and he clearly, and this is not debatable really, but he made the most important play of the season so far. That was the most important play of the season, and it's just wow.
Shout out R. Mason, because R. Mason tipped that ball. So.
Bro,
R. Mason
He
went
tipped that
ballistic,
pick. That ball
dude.
is not wobbly. If R. Mason doesn't come here and just...
He is incredible.
I saw a picture of it was R. Mason in the first 2 third quarters, and it's a golden retriever. And then it's the fourth quarter, and it's just a raging wolf. That man, he is so...
What did Jim Traber called him something? He called him Mr. Crunch Time or something.
I don't know, but...
It fits.
He just becomes a maniac in the fourth quarter. Yeah, we are our Mason Thomas stan here at the Boomer Backfield podcast.
Boomer Backfield. I love him.
He is a game changer.
Yeah.
He's going to the league. He's going to the freaking league. He's got the size, maturity. He's got all of it for the league. So
he had a huge couple sacks. He's just he's so good.
Continuing on the positive train, I have to give an apology. I have a deep-hearted apology.
Is this
I think everyone should probably already know.
Is this what we think?
If you've listened to the podcast for long enough, you're gonna know who I'm giving an apology to, man.
Kylan said he was gonna do this.
I have to. I feel bad. Actually, I don't, but I feel kind of bad. Zach Schmidt, 2 for 2 yesterday.
Oh,
listen.
This is different, actually.
Oh yeah, no,
what we were talking about.
Zach Schmidt.
But yes, this is
2 for 2.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: it's really easy to become the backup, especially when you get kicked out of your spot, and then check out, not care in practice anymore, and then you get called up randomly. You didn't know you were gonna get called up, and you're not prepared. You go out there, you go 0 for 2. It would have been really easy for a complacent person to do that. He didn't, and that's pretty respectable. To be doing what BV would call this, doing the dirty work in the dark is what BV would call that, because for him to go 2 for 2 meant that he had to be doing work when he thought that nobody would ever see the results. Because let's be real, this entire offseason, or at least fall camp, he probably knew he wasn't starting, and he probably knew that every time I go out there and kick field goals, it doesn't matter one bit because it'll never show up on TV or film.
Yep.
And yet, he still went out there and did the work. Respect and apologies to Zach Schmidt.
I mean, without his 2 for 2 field goals, we lose the game.
Yeah. So
he had 7 points
Zach
on the game.
Schmidt. Thank you, Zach Schmidt.
I'll also apologize to you, Zach Schmidt. I think we all have to apologize because we all clowned him.
Yeah.
I think you got a little more dog in you than I thought.
Yeah.
So my apologies. You clutched up.
Yeah.
I didn't think you had it in you. I'm not gonna lie to you. I didn't think you had it in you, but obviously you do. So I stand corrected. Good job, Zachary.
Yeah. What they said. Good job, Zach.
But you know what?
Oh wait, are you?
What are you gonna say? You say it.
Well, are you gonna talk to Spencer about what we both thought? Who he was making an apology to? Should we? Personally, I thought you were gonna apologize to Michael Hawkins. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Why would I say something bad about Michael Hawkins? Oh, because I said that. Well, if you want to get back into last week, we want to do that. I can bring up the evidence because Josh Heupel, post-game speech, said, "Yep, we changed our game plan and slowed it down and played conservative in the second half." BV, post-game speech, said, Yeah, they kind of played conservative in the second half.
Oh, I wasn't talking about. I was just saying like how you think he didn't think he could save us.
Oh, well, I don't think. I mean,
that's what I took it as. That's what you
okay.
said. Like I thought you were saying like you didn't think he could save us.
Oh, well, I
like,
don't.
We were still screwed.
I mean, I was just kind of repeating. I have the same sentiment as Joel Klatt, where it's like Michael Hawkins is a huge improvement. Obviously, I mean, I don't think you saw everybody saw in the Tennessee game. Like I said last week, I was like, yeah, he's a step in the right direction, but he is not the fix to this offense. And I think we still can kind of all agree that like the offense is buns.
I can't agree with it.
But
I can't agree with it.
You can't agree with that?
I can't.
you can't agree with the offense. Okay, I will just.
I can.
That offense is buns.
Yes.
I think the offense is buns.
I think it is. I was going to say this later.
But
Seth Luttrell and Joe John.
yeah, okay.
Y'all got to go.
Let's say it this way:
Like,
if what happened, if Auburn didn't just hand us that game on a silver platter, then we would have came out. We would be saying on this podcast right now, the defense blew their leg. Yes, but you can't. What we would have said is, we can't expect the defense to show up every game. The offense need to step it up at one point, and they never did. That's what we would have said.
dude.
So
The
I'm
offense.
trying to collect my thoughts here. I agree.
I'm going silly.
Yeah.
I can't stand him.
I'm going to try to settle what I had to settle. I agree that, like, offense played. First off, I'm just going to that. Thank you, Michael Hawkins. You saved the game. That pass, I think everybody knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
First off, J.J. Hester. Apologies to J.J. Hester.
Yeah.
You're not a bum anymore.
Yeah.
You're
not a bum.
They just don't
What a
throw it to you.
catch. Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. All offseason, this is kind of behind the scenes information, but I don't think I've ever seen an over-the-shoulder catch more than 40 yards caught. We drop those things every single time. We've done them in games too. You see, and you could argue that they're off accuracy, but every time they're just dropped. They hit the ground. They don't even like. And so finally we got that. Thank you, JJ Hester. But Michael Hawkins, was that 65 yards? 70?
It looked like 60 in the air. He threw it from
like
the 30 to the 10, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So
if you take that off,
50 yards in the air, though.
Yeah.
Or what?
That's 60, shouldn't it? To the 40.
Wait, 40, 60. Yeah, 60 yards in the air. Unreal throw.
So I will say, to the apology to Michael Hawkins, if I have one, is like, I still think the offense is buns.
That's fair.
The biggest problem with the offense yesterday was the penalties. Holy crap. The
Yes.
illegal motions, the
That's what I was going to say.
not getting set, the false starts. I mean, the amount of drives that we blew on those. But if we're just talking about Michael Hawkins, played out of his freaking mind yesterday. And and here's the thing about what Mike did yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
The offense sucked. He took everything that he possibly could. If the offense was a lemon, that lemon was bone dry. And Mike, he just went and crushed every bit of lemon juice out of that lemon, because that lemon included the most buns tight ends on the planet who were committing penalties.
Anything in the solar system.
Who were committing penalties.
Dude.
That system included the 6th, 7th, and 8th wide receiver in our lineup. And that system included a O-line that sucked. And on really big, like 3rd and 2, 2nd and 4, they would go and false start.
Yeah.
Or Javonte would move in the backfield, and it was an illegal motion. And so what Mike was handed to him on the road at Auburn was really so bad. One of the worst offenses. Terrible.
Yeah.
And he squeezed every bit out of there. If Michael Hawkins was on Texas or he was on Georgia or Alabama, we'd be talking about a true freshman Heisman. He is a baller.
Yes.
So I will say last week, I did not think that he would be as good as he was. I will give you that. I definitely underestimated Michael Hawkins. I think everyone did preseason. I mean, nobody thought he would be doing that preseason, except for you. Nobody thought that he would be week 5 going on the road to Auburn and squeezing life out of this offense.
That's facts.
But
that's facts. Even I did.
I think my point stands on this offense has a huge problem still, and Michael
Yeah.
Hawkins doesn't fix all of it.
Yeah.
Because if you go and do what we did, those
Yeah.
penalties against Texas, not gonna happen.
That's my exact standpoint. Is the offense it's terrible. Michael, holy moly, he's incredible. I counted. There was 4 explosive momentum shifting plays that happened that were called back because of penalties by the offensive line.
Yeah.
There was one across the middle that he threw. I think he threw to Bauer Sharp. It was like a 30-yard completion down the middle of the field.
Hold.
Called back.
Back it up.
Hold. There was a great run by Gavin Sawchuk in the 4th quarter. Called back. Hold. Michael had this amazing scramble. We got a first down. Called back. Hold. And there was another play that I forget, but it was another like.
He said touchdown to Javonte.
It was the touchdown. It was the touchdown on the 2-yard line to Javonte, the passing touchdown. Called back. Whatever it was.
And then we got a field goal out of that too, didn't we? I think that one we got a field goal out of.
We got a
we got
field
held to
goal.
a field goal,
Yeah.
so that
Out of
cost us 4 points.
Yeah, it cost us 4 points. And that's the thing is like, I couldn't agree with you more that Michael literally did everything he possibly. He is such a baller and a game changer. Like his Superman back-to-back weeks,
The flip.
back-to-back week Supermans.
Yes.
Like he jumped over, gets flipped, looks like Bradford all over again.
Mm-hmm.
He looked. Do you remember that one highlight from years ago where it's like the Mississippi State quarterback was running? I think it was at Auburn, and he jumps up and does like a twist in the
Oh,
air,
yeah.
and he falls down. Like that is how he looked, and bro just popped up and goes in the crowd. Just,
Yeah.
he's just so gross. But
He's disgusting.
with that being said, Seth Luttrell and Joe John got to go. Like, did you see the video of Michael or Seth like hugging Michael in the hallway?
You
I
should
think bro was crying.
Yeah, because
Seth Luttrell,
lost his
you
job.
saved my life. You saved my job.
Yeah.
No, you didn't. Because you know what? You still need to be gone anyways.
He needs to be gone.
But it was so like, and Michael's like, yeah, coach. He's like patting him. Thank you, Michael.
Yeah.
Dude, it's just so bad. But like our tight ends, they couldn't block if their baby was on, his life was on the line. You got the O line who's, this is them.
The penalties, bro.
They're holding on. You got penalties left and right. You got our 6th, 7th, and 8th string receivers playing, which honestly didn't do bad. We had a couple drops, but for the most part, like they didn't perform terrible. But like the offense, it's like it's literally a diamond in like a manure pile.
Mm-hmm.
That is our offense. It's Michael Hawkins. He is incredible. He's electric. He might be one of the best quarterbacks in his class, if not the best quarterback in his class. I don't know any other quarterback that's starting as a true freshman, let alone who's played as composed and as confident and as good as he has. He is incredible.
Yeah.
But when you're surrounded by manure, like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do with that O-line? What are you going to do with Javonte running into the dang lineman every single week, which I thought he did better this week.
He did better.
He did much better this week. But it's still like, it's not a massive change, but there was progress. So I do want to give Javonte credit.
There's 7 diamonds in that pile of manure, and 6 of them are injured. Taylor Tatum,
There you go.
and then the 5
Yeah.
receivers.
Yeah.
They're all injured. And you go on the
On the road at
Yeah.
Auburn, it's just so impressive what he
Yes.
did. It really is like, and his stats don't show. We only threw the ball 15 times.
Mm-hmm.
He completed 10 of those 15 passes for 161 yards. What is that? He's averaging what, 16 yards per pass?
the big thing.
Why aren't we
is-
hearing the ball out more?
The big thing.
Why? It's
is
crazy.
he committed no turnovers.
No turnovers.
With all that chaos, no turnovers, no mistakes.
Yeah, I don't want to interrupt you, but I do want to say the amount of sacks he evaded
Yes.
that Jackson Arnold would have fallen down or got sacked on, drastic. The 2-point conversion that he did the Superman. He would like went in the pocket and then bounced out, got his leg ripped, came around. There was one that he did in like midfield on our own 48 or whatever. Like we're about midfield. And he's running around, about to get tackled, and he just like flicks it out. And it gets out of bounds, and we don't lose 12 yards off the
The
play.
2-point conversion play is insane.
Yeah, I don't even.
He obviously sees nobody because we have, the 6, 7, and 8 wide receivers. O-line collapses. He does the right thing and steps up. But he's got 3 in front, 3 people about to tackle him in front of him, and 2 behind him. So
Yeah.
he's literally cornered. Like he's literally like in a box. And he just steps right back out.
Yep.
and just runs to the sideline. And then at the sideline, there's no looks. There's no way he's getting in the end zone. So he just whoop and just Mario hop and then just hits the guy and
he just fall. I mean, he is phenomenal. That's our quarterback, dude. And me and Kylan were talking. We're like, we have him for at least 2 more years. Like, can you imagine if we build an O-line around him and keep the quality of our defense that we have, and we get good receivers? That's not out of the picture.
The thing is,
he's phenomenal.
We don't need to go get good receivers. We have them.
Yeah, they just got to get healthy. Yeah.
All we have to do is get a few good O-line transfers and get the guys right, and then finally get a good tight end, which means we're going to have to fire John Finley, personally.
Dude.
But if we do all that, this team's going to be really good.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, we're talking about next year.
This might be a crazy take, but if you're going to fire Seth this season, or John, today or tomorrow would be the day to do it. You got 13 days to prepare for Texas. It's a bye week, which it sounds crazy. Like this is like it, but I'm saying, like, in the case that you were going to fire them, it would literally be today or tomorrow.
The problem is Michael Hawkins just shaved his job.
Yeah, and
they're not going to fire him.
That's why
they
I
just did that. Yeah, they're not going to do it after what he just did. Dude, so unfortunately, we're kind of stuck with them.
Yeah, but they're a problem. They're a real problem, and they are holding it. I hate saying single-handedly, but I do want to say it. John and Seth are single-handedly holding this team back. Like, we got the guys, and obviously injuries too, but.
I've been trying to be quiet because I cannot express my love for Michael Hawkins Jr. I am a fangirl for Michael Hawkins, and I have been since I saw OU Twitter, whenever that was, when bro committed. I said, who is this?
I remember the day he committed, you told me about him.
I said, this rascal right here is something. Rascal is a term of endearment, guys. Like, that's how I use it as a term.
Well, it can be used in several
multiple ways, but I'm using it right now as a term of endearment.
There you go.
He, like, if there's one person, this is why I think that he can save us, is because he pretty much almost just did. If Jackson Arnold, and first of all, before I start saying positive things, Jackson Arnold, you are going down on my list. I honestly still had respect for you as a person.
Yeah.
But the fact that I've watched so many clips, I don't think I saw you. Michael Hawkins, literally, I said, dude, if you came to the University of Oklahoma, you should just love to win. I know you got benched, but I have yet to see him go up to Mike. Like, he should have been the first. When Mike took off to score our first touchdown, he should have been the first one out there congratulating him. That's your guy. That's your brother in the same position group. I know you're hot.
Yeah.
I know you're mad.
Yeah.
Like, I get that, bro. He stole your job. Okay, cool. Yeah. Were you doing your job? No. So you can't be mad. Sorry. But, bro, every time we saw you, like, we were at the game. Obviously, yes, we were at the game. Every time we saw you.
When he was walking off the field after the game.
After we won, and everyone's just lit. I mean, we're probably because we're chanting Michael Hawkins. I mean, I understand. Like, you're probably not going to be like, as we're chanting Michael Hawkins, because you're going to get flipped off probably, but it's whatever. But still, even coming out of the tunnel for halftime, bro, it's just, why are you sad that we won? And why are you sad that he's succeeding?
That's the crazy thing. He looks upset when Michael succeeds, and that's a problem.
Awful, because the running backs, that's the one thing I will say about the running back room, is that if one of them does something, the other 6 are like sprinting because they're like, receivers, they're going crazy.
Defense, all the defense.
Everybody, all the defense. They do. When Kip got that, I saw guys, I don't even know who they were like, I was like, because that's what it takes.
Yeah.
That's what it should be about. Michael Hawkins just came into a road game. Jackson Arnold, I think he might have completed 4 passes. He might have completed 4 passes.
Well, I mean, if you look at his stats, if we only threw for 15 times, he would have made 7 or less completions at the very least. Yeah. Based off his stat, he hasn't thrown for over, what is he, 50%, 60%?
Something like that. Something.
Yeah, I don't know.
But anyway.
The most,
sorry,
7.
That has been on my mind that, Jackson, you are a terrible teammate, and I see why low-key nobody, like, messes with you. Like, even when you get knocked down, your O-line, or, like, when you try to help them up, they're just like, nah, I got it, bro. I'll just get up on my own.
I didn't think about that.
I understand that now because you're – and BV, man, I love you, BV, but you got to quit. It's almost like he's trying to hide. Jackson Arnold gets – I don't know if y'all saw this, but in his press game or, like, post game, they'd be like, so tell me about Michael, blah, blah, blah. And then he would be like, well, Jackson Arnold has, he can use his legs too.
Yeah.
I don't, honestly, I really don't care about Jackson Arnold and what he can do.
Yeah.
Your guy is literally wearing number 9, and it says Hawkins Jr. on the back of his jersey.
I disagree with that whole thing on Twitter that's like BV is out here like hating on Michael Thompson and trying to get, because if you look at last week's press conferences,
that's facts.
He was like meat riding Michael
That's
Hawkins,
facts.
and like he was like going against everything that Seth Luttrell said about like why, like I think BV is one of the big reasons that Hawkins even got subbed in.
I agree.
So I don't think there's anything there with the whole BV thing. I also think just being inside the locker room, like I don't think that there's like a bad teammate thing with Jackson. Like I feel like you can make faces that say the wrong thing sometimes. And to be honest, he probably is upset. If I was in his position, I would be upset that Michael Hawkins went out there and balled out, because I'd be like, dang, like that's it. Like I got to transfer out of here. So, like, do I think like, Jackson's I just don't think Jackson's like a hater. I don't think Jackson's like sitting back there at the number 2 spot and being like, I want him to fail so bad. But at the same time, I think Jackson's just looking and watching all this happen and be like, man, like, this is it for me.
Or that could have been me.
Yeah.
Dude, when you see the picture on Instagram of him holding up Michael like this, and Michael's like surfing the crowd, and he's got the game ball.
Yeah.
Jackson's sitting there like, this could have been me.
Yeah.
Like the team, Michael is their quarterback. Like, and everybody knows it.
Absolutely.
Everybody knows it. That's what I'm saying. I feel bad for Jackson. But
another thing about
celebrate
the BV thing is he might have like misspoke in that post-game interview. Like that was literally on the field right after the game. But in the locker room, I promise you, BV was, again, meat riding Michael Hawkins. Like he was giving him the game ball, spewing out stat after stat to the entire, like during the team, like everybody huddle up. Yeah. Here's what Michael just did. He's the first true freshman to win his first road game, like all this stuff. So
first career start on the road.
I guess for me, it's crazy. Which I mean, fair enough for you. Like now that you say, I'm like, all right, cool. That's fair. He could have misspoke. Yeah. I just thought, like, based on what I was seeing,
from your knowledge,
from what I know, it's just like, why are we? It was almost like he was not downplaying him, but it just. I guess how I was a coach. If I was a coach, I would be losing my mind. Like, please ask me about Michael Hawkins. Please.
No, I will say it's fair because it's like, why are you talking about Jackson? Yeah. Like, why is Jackson even in the top? Like, he didn't barely even warmed up. Yeah. So, like, why? Yeah, that's a good point. Like, I don't know why that, but
it makes me.
He might have just been protecting Jackson. He might have just been like, I really don't know, but
or maybe he had like a pretentious like bias that they're gonna ask me about Jackson after this game, or like every question they ask me might be geared towards Jackson. I don't know.
The thing about BB,
I mean, everybody has.
He's got so many voices in his ear.
Yeah,
like he's got Jackson's parents in his ear, Michael's parents, obviously. Michael's dad has been in his ear. Yeah. And then you also got like the director of like communications saying like, hey, if they ask you about Jackson or Michael, you need to say this, and then so you also just spent 4 hours winning a war, and so things get said that you don't necessarily mean, but
or do you have anything else said about Michael? Because you love Michael.
I want to say one last thing about Michael. He doesn't fix everything, but he is the savior. You are right, and I was wrong about last year. He is the savior of this team. Like, we don't win if we didn't have him.
We don't win.
And we don't win.
We don't go to a bowl.
He makes our outlook so much better because I actually can see our offense putting up 20, 30, 40 points on Texas. I couldn't see us putting up 3 on Texas with Jackson, so I will give you that. He is legit, and he's the savior. But
And
he's
it's
not
literally because, and I told Colby this, and I think I've probably said it before. I said because I'll rant about Seth Luttrell and Joe John in after this, but Mike is the type of like guy that's just, it's literally backyard football. It's like I just have to figure out a way to just make this happen. Jackson Arnold, it was more like, this is the play call, I got to go, I got to do it. So like if all right, I can maybe run a little bit, or if I'm going to pass, I don't know, but even if the first down's right there, I can't get there, so I got to slide before I get hit. Michael Hawkins, I saw him slide a couple times, and that's what we got to work on, Mike. We got to figure out when to slide and when you can get a little more, and when you just got to get down, because I saw you get popped.
Yeah, that's the thing.
He got Javonte also, man, bro. He got a block.
Yeah, block.
Because bro said, I just gave up. Pow!
Michael looks like a rugrat out there. Just running around.
He doesn't slide. He slides too early when he shouldn't, and then he slides too late when he like you need to get down.
Go get down.
That's funny, but
it's just like, but that's what I saw. It was playmaking ability. Because when you have a buns, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, Seth Luttrell and Joe John, y'all are garbage. I mean hot trash. Yeah. Like y'all are actually sewage, manure, everything. I saw this tweet, and it's literally just like scribbles, and it was like, this is Seth Luttrell's playbook. It was like pictures of this little kid.
It's like, yeah. Like it's like drawings of like little,
drawings.
Yeah.
Like stick
like crowns.
I'll put up with it, but I just don't understand how you don't throw the ball. It blows my mind that we only think that Michael Hawkins can just run. Mm-hmm. He was a 4-star. He threw. I remember last year. This is when I started really getting on the Mike Hawk train.
The Mike meat.
The Mike Hawk. I'm not gonna say that. Mike Hawk train.
Just because your mom's watching this, don't hold back. You've said other words about this offense.
Yeah, I said. Yeah, okay. Anyway, so
don't worry about him, Kim.
He played in like a couple, like maybe of the 12. Let's say he played 12 games in high school. In like 2 or 3 of those, he played the full game. Mm-hmm. But the other 7 or 8, he got pulled like at halftime, and he threw for like 4,000 yards.
I didn't know that.
Yes, he was getting pulled because they
were did he go to Allen?
No, he went to like a 3A or like 4A.
Oh,
high school,
okay.
But still, if you throw for 4,000, you play every single game. That's still ridiculous.
Yeah.
But to play only like the full game in like 3, like a quarter, I was like, this rascal must have a gun.
Yeah.
And then we see it. He throws a bomb to J.J. Hester, and J.J. Hester's wide open. And it was just like, why did he go 10 for 15?
That's what I'm saying. Why don't we throw the ball more?
Why don't we throw the ball? If he can throw, why are we going to run it? We can't run. We have no running backs. They're not good. So why not air it out?
Well, the thing is, too, is we did try to throw the ball, and then nobody would get open, and you'd scramble and run. Mm-hmm. Or then he almost got sacked, so he'd throw it out, and he makes some magical evading sack and just flicks the ball out of bounds.
That's the only thing I'll say is like, nobody gets open.
Yeah.
I mean, we got backups out there, so nobody's getting open. But still.
I feel like we were still running.
Yeah,
worst. Like, Brendan Thompson, I get it. He's a burner. I mean, I've seen it maybe twice. Yeah. He's literally this big. So even if you're not going to burn, he can't burn the corner that bad. That way the 6'2" corner's not just going to be like, all right, give me the ball. But if I was J.J. Hester, if I'm Seth Luttrell, I'm putting J.J. Hester in there for one reason and one reason only. Go get this ball. It's a bomb. And I would just throw it up. And he's 6'4".
Yeah.
Just throw him a 50-50 ball and see if he can do it. And if it's a turnover, all right, so be it. But they're so bad. They are the worst coaches I think I've ever seen. And Joe John, you can't even coach your tight ends.
Yeah.
I mean, those are probably 2, and I should have known. I'm sorry, Bauer Sharp. He has like the look and like the drip, and like I was like, oh, he's this rascal. He has the folded up jersey, and you see his little abs poking through. I was like, oh, he's about to be nice. I honestly, if I lined up at DN, I think I'm smacking Bauer Sharp.
Yeah.
I'm honestly hitting him with one fake hezzy step, and I'm going inside, and he's falling down.
He's bad. It's really bad because OU has a history of having really good tight ends. Like just growing up, it's like you had Mark Andrews, you had Stogg, you had Grant Calcaterra, Even Blake Bell was a beast when he moved to tight end. Jermaine Gresham was
Joe John Finley himself.
Joe John Finley himself.
How are you good at the game and you can't coach it? That doesn't make sense.
Marco.
And then you have Stogg. Stogg was good before he left. And so it's just unfortunate that we are known for having good tight ends, and one of our good tight ends is the coach, and now we have bad tight ends. It's kind of like the same thing with DeMarco. DeMarco, and I wouldn't say it's the same level. I don't think our running backs are as bad as our tight end group, but DeMarco was an amazing running back, and really, what does he put out there that's phenomenal other than Taylor Tatum? And Taylor Tatum, just like you said, got here in like May. So it's like DeMarco didn't put his bad touch on him enough yet. It's still Taylor Tatum. DeMarco's got bad magic.
Yeah. Bad magic.
Yeah. One thing I'll say about Michael Hawkins, and I think we can all agree on this one, we have finally lost the Jeff Levy, Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah.
Dude.
Reed. No. If there's not a receiver open, what do? They just throw the ball. Like, I am so sick of tired and watching of like, I hate how rigid our offense is for the quarterback. One thing that Lincoln Riley did that was so great, and everyone said this, he's a quarterback-friendly coach. He gives the quarterback so many options. If they blitz, you have this. If they do this, you have this. You have so many options, but he also just allows them to be free form. Like Baker, Kyler, Jalen, Caleb, he let them he gave them freedom to do what they were great at.
Yeah.
Caleb had that running ability. Kyler had that running ability. Baker was just able to just make plays, step up in the pocket. There's so many.
He's an improviser, bro.
Improvising. And Dylan Gabriel and Jackson not only are not good improvisers, they're very much point guards. Dylan Gabriel, especially, they're point guards that run a system. But also, they weren't given any space in the offense to actually do. The Jeff Levy, Dylan Gabriel system was the most rigid system ever. Literally, make your reads. If one's not there.
Drake Stoops is on a drag route. Just hit him.
Yeah. Just
3 yards.
check. There's 2 check downs that you can hit. Or you're hitting the sack. You're getting the sack.
Sack.
And I think that was Jackson's mentor, was Dylan.
Yeah.
And he saw that, and he was like, all right, we're carrying that over. Seth Luttrell, his mentor, Jeff Levy, they saw that. They took that. Michael Hawkins said, I'm not doing any of that. I'm going to play in a system that – or I'm not – unfortunately, the system is what it is, but he's like, I'm going to play free form, do what I want.
Yeah.
Play backyard football. And we have not seen backyard football at quarterback since really Caleb Williams, which,
Yeah.
But
that's, if we're going to be honest here, the first run, literally the touchdown run, tell me it reminded me exactly of Caleb Williams coming to Texas. Because it was like the same little, it was supposed to be a pass, but then it's like, I got to get out of there. And then it's boom, cut through the middle, make one guy miss, and it's off to the races.
Yeah. I had that in my notes. It said it looked like when Caleb Williams came into OU Texas on that 4th down play and ran it up the middle for 50-some odd yards.
And honestly, and this is probably so wrong, but I feel like Mike don't be listening to the coach. I feel like he listens to his dad. Like his dad probably hey, don't run that.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
It probably does. I don't know.
I know it does. It probably doesn't happen, but
know.
I feel like Mike is the type of person that's like, I know he's probably shaking his head. Like he's like, okay. All right, guys, here's a play. I'm probably not going to do this. But I saw him check at the line because I love it's so funny to watch. Cause
yeah.
Like, dude, calm down. But I know he's screaming his head off trying to get him to hear.
Better than that than what we've had.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
And it's just like, go make something happen, and that's what he does. It's not his will to have a positive play is through the roof. There's little time where he's just like, I'm just going to give up and throw the ball away. And it's like, if you can at least go get one, you can get one. I'm still it's a positive play.
Yeah.
1 yard. Cool.
Yeah. He's a breath of fresh air when it comes to the play style, everything. His heart. And the will to get a positive play, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah. He
Like,
stops
why are
at
you trying to
nothing.
trust
He's relentless.
He's literally relentless.
He's relentless.
Putting his body on the line. He does not care. And is loud. My mom literally texted me and she said, "Is it as loud in that stadium as it sounds on TV?" I said, "Yeah." And I said, "In this stadium, I don't think this is the loudest one in the SEC, and it's not even close."
I don't think so either.
And I said, if I'm him, I would be like, "What did he say? What did he say to run?" I forgot to play. And Mike, I swear he's probably playing with like headphones on inside. He was like,
Probably had AirPods
he
in.
probably had his AirPods in,
Yeah.
listening to young boy, boss man D-Lo, and he was like, "Oh yeah, man, this is what we finna run."
Yeah.
But dude, he's
great.
different. That is why I think he can he can save us, is because he can create plays that are not there.
Yep.
And Jackson Arnold cannot do that because he
I
doesn't
agree.
have it right here.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like that's the play call, and if it's not there, I think he's just more pro style.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get the ball. He can run, but he's not making that touchdown run.
So, that being said, I wanted to discuss this in today's pod.
Where is he going next year?
Where is he going next year? I think it's totally fair to start asking that right now.
No,
and
it's-
here's the thing.
he's not going to be a Sooner.
I think
He's not going to be a Sooner next year.
I
Yeah.
think personally, he's going to ball out somewhere.
Yeah,
And
he
that's not
will.
a loss for us.
Yeah.
But just like you said, he's pro style, and somebody that runs pro style is getting an insanely talented quarterback. Like, if there is an offense out there that is looking for a pro style quarterback, they're going to get a dog, not a mental dog, but like a very, very talented player. And so I think there's a lot of teams out there that could use Jackson Arnold. Like, a lot of teams out there, and would benefit,
Dude,
very, very heavily.
the entire Big Ten.
Yeah.
The entire Big Ten.
Like Michigan. Oh man, if he's at Michigan
Dude,
right now,
or Iowa,
he would solve all their problems. God, if he goes to Iowa, his career's over. But
his career's over.
no, if he goes,
But
to
he would you would
Michigan,
succeed there.
Ohio State. I hate to say, like, literally, Ohio State would ball out with him.
I mean, they got Julian saying. So.
Well, they're not gonna. They don't need him.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I'm just saying, like, those are teams that could. But
Florida.
Michigan, God, that would also be the end of his career. Michigan, though, that's a good team. They just don't have a quarterback. I'm trying to think, like,
Penn State.
I was Penn State. My
Penn
first
State.
thought was Notre
Oh.
Dame.
Oh, I didn't think
Because
Notre
Riley
Dame.
Leonard is gonna
Oh, that's right. That is.
Yeah.
graduate.
Dude, he reminds me of Drew Aller. I'm not gonna lie. Jackson Arnold might be Drew Aller.
I think he's Landry Jones.
Yeah. Well,
No,
Landry
he's not.
Jones
He
was
can't
good.
be Landry Jones, bro. Landry Jones threw at least. He was known
That's
for
facts. Landry.
crazy yards.
Landry Jones
Landry-
was good at football.
Dude,
He's just not athletic.
I can't stand up to that.
I'm trying to look at places that have
I can't ride with
a
that.
senior
Graduating team.
graduating
Yeah.
that are not
Colorado. No.
I said that was the first thing in my head. I was like, bro, what?
Bro.
He would be like, why is Rick Ross in our locker room?
Dude,
right
after
now?"
3 months, he'd have 3 diamond iced out chains.
Cade
Dripped
Klubnik,
out.
Does he graduate soon?
I could see him, but you know, Dabo don't take people out the transfer portal, bro.
That's fast, Dabo. Florida State,
Florida State could use him. I think that would also be the end of his career.
Florida.
There's a lot of places I think.
There's a lot
he
of
goes
there's
to
a lot of like, big
Georgia.
schools.
No, to be honest, I
Georgia.
think there's a lot of places that could end his career because if he doesn't get in a good team, he's not going to make him any better.
Yeah.
So, like, he's got to
Georgia.
go somewhere pretty good.
What about Wisconsin?
If I were him. Wisconsin's probably solid, but I think Tyler Van Dyke will come back.
I say, I don't know if their quarterback. I don't know how old he is.
I think he might get a mid red. So
Imagine he goes to Oregon.
I was thinking that, like, DG's probably.
I mean-
there's no shot. I don't think he runs that. He can't run that.
I don't think he could run it like DGA or Bo Nix. Like, there's no way.
I mean, he is,
But
but
maybe-
he's like worse Bo Nix. So maybe because he'll be surrounded with. If he could, he just literally had to
know.
let him sit there and just throw it.
See, I think Bo Nix. I think DG is worse Bo Nix, and I think Jackson Arnold is. I don't even think he's worse.
I
DG.
don't.
He's
I
just
can't
worse.
compare Bo Nix and DG.
Oh, I think they're almost exactly alike.
Bo Nix
that
had
was-
he was just throwing that rock. Just
He had a cannon, but Oregon never used it. Like, they never threw the ball downfield. They just had little. It was the same. They're running the same thing with DG and Bo Nix, just like
I guess it's just because he's
Point
left-handed,
guard.
Bro.
trying to think. Of
Should we
anywhere
do
else.
like a school prediction?
Yeah, I think
Is
we
that
should do
too
school play.
foul?
I don't.
Is
think
that
it's
too
foul.
foul?
I
to
think
put on the
we
pod?
save that for Wednesday, bro.
Okay, we can
Because
do it for
Wednesday is
Wednesday.
going to be the bye-week pod.
Yeah, we could do a
And
little
we're gonna have
school
to-
prediction.
Everyone do
We
your
can
research.
wear. We could do. I wish we had hats up here where we could be like, all right,
Bro, we can
here's
just
where.
we can print out a picture, bro. and Just have it.
We could put on the hat,
Yeah, we can put
and
on.
that's
No,
where
that's
we
what I
think
was
he's
saying.
going next. Yeah. Wait, one thing I do want to do before we kind of wrap it up. Shout out Luke Elzinga, man.
Where's a demon?
Talk about a savior.
Yeah.
Dude's averaging almost 50 yards per punt. He has put us
He can
in
punt that
such
thing.
good field
He
positioning.
can punt that ball.
All for the defense. He is a very, 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 very good punter. And he's been so important in all of our games. Like, he's an X factor. Like, it's kind of crazy to think a punter is an X factor, but he really is. He is solid. So good for him. Good for Luke Elzinga and Zach Schmidt. Like, really just the whole kicking, whole special teams yesterday. Good job, guys.
Dude, now that you say Georgia, man, that sounds about right for Jackson. Carson Beck going out. He would ball out at
They got
Georgia.
Rashada, though.
Huh?
They got Jaden Rashada,
Yeah. He would be in a competition for sure.
and he'd probably lose.
Auburn.
What are we look? We're looking into the bye week, so should we even do a looking ahead?
Well, I think there's some decent games next week, right?
Well, we're not going to do score predictions. We'll do score predictions on Wednesday.
Oh, yeah.
I'm talking about like looking ahead for OU.
I mean, this week is really
Moving
just
forward.
about getting as many people back healthy as we can.
Yeah.
That's a good thing to talk
And-
about.
Cleaning up everything. This game, you don't really have to this is not a game that you have to really explain to people now. Like, you don't have to explain what OU Texas is.
Yeah.
You don't know Auburn like that. Like, it's not like so you really have to sit there and watch. This game is fueled by emotions. A lot of the plays that are gonna
Every
be made
year.
is fueled by emotions.
Yes.
There's already bulletin board material. Colin Simmons, DN for Texas. I said, you better play the game of your life, buddy, because I feel like we're gonna dominate them. It's crazy. I mean,
I don't think he knows.
I
don't think he
as
knows.
A true freshman.
Yeah, he doesn't
and
know.
he's good. He's solid.
Yeah.
But, I mean,
You don't know yet.
I pray.
Yeah.
Because I promise you, there's gonna be one guy that's gonna clown you, at least one, and it's right here. I'll at you because you ain't coming to get me. You're not gonna come.
I remember
I dare you come get me.
the thing is,
I dare you.
it was this time last year that everyone was saying, number 3 Texas, number 12 Oklahoma. This could be ugly for Oklahoma, and it happens.
And
They
the
were
three guys
saying
sitting
that.
right here
Yep.
might have been part of that.
People-
We said it.
No, my opinion is this game, I don't care how bad it is. It's always 50-50. It's a coin flip. Anybody that says otherwise is an idiot. So
Dude, I can't tell you how many years OU's been top 6, top 10. Texas was unranked, 1-3 going into the game. And Sam Ehlinger looks like Tom Brady. Like, I mean, they beat us with Baker his first year
well, there was also
here.
there was also a lot of years where
Like, beat us with Kyler.
Yeah.
And that was Sam Ehlinger with Kyler. I'm like, it's always a toss-up. No matter if we're number 1 or if Texas is number 1.
That's what I was gonna say.
It's always a toss-up.
There's been plenty of years where they are like the heavy favorite, and people just completely just are like, yeah, OU.
Yeah.
Because what you
Or
have to
we
do.
were, I think, the number 1 or 2 team with Bradford
Yeah.
in like
Lost.
2007 or
Was
8.
that
We lost to
Colt
Colt
McCoy?
McCoy,
God.
and they were
Well,
a
that
good
was-
team.
yeah.
They were
Texas-
like number 8, but
that was like in their
still,
dog
it's
era.
like it doesn't matter who's 1 or 2 or
Matt
if you're ranked or
Brown.
unranked.
Look at that guy right
It's
there.
always a toss up.
I mean, that's such a fun game, dude. I can't wait. And it's the one game this year, and I know y'all are gonna hate me, but I say it all the time. When we lose, I'm always upset, but there is a different level of upset. Like, if we would have lost yesterday, the flight would have been bad. The drive back to Atlanta would have been bad. But like today, I'd have been like, talk about it, get it out, and then like, hey, we got to move on. But Texas, I lose sleep. I lose. It's like I personally went out there and played that game.
I hate them.
Because I can't.
I
It's
can't
not a fake.
stand Texas.
It's not a
dude.
fake hatred anymore. Like not anymore. But like even in like high school, you hate it. Middle school, you hate them. But now that like you go here, it's like, man, it means something to me, man.
When you start going down there every year and seeing,
You're like, when I see that orange, oh, I get hot. Like
Yeah.
I get mad. I don't like it.
they
Yeah.
look at you because I hate that they all wear that collared.
Dude,
long
Bevo,
sleeve.
I want to
cook
eat him.
up, man.
I want to
I
eat
want to
him.
slice him up,
I want to eat him.
make him a burger.
Come here, Bevo.
Bevo burger.
I'm going to eat
Yeah.
you, buddy.
on the
I
house.
think if we don't have Dion and Taylor Tatum back,
Thing is, I mean, Dion.
we better. I don't know what's going
Taylor
on.
Tatum
with
will be back.
Taylor
Because
Tatum, concussion, yeah.
unless he get rocked again.
The Dion, man, I'm worried about that. We haven't heard anything. We really have not heard anything.
Okay. Here's one thing I do want to say about the whole injury bug is this insanely bad luck, or is there something wrong with our recovery, our nutrition, or something else? Because there is no reason you should have 5 receivers out. And granted, the luck could just be that insanely bad, but what other team across the entire country has a situation like ours?
The problem is,
It's like
there's no way to tell.
there's no way to
Because
tell,
happened-
but it's just
this
something to
happened
think
back-
about.
This has happened before, back in like 2008, to us, and it's happened to other teams before. Like, this is not like unheard of.
Yeah.
It's odd. The odd thing is it's all wide receivers,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is really weird. But like, it's not like unheard of. But I just don't think there's any way that you can go and blame, at least from our point of knowledge,
Yeah.
because it's
Yeah.
like we aren't in there
Yeah.
watching them stretch.
Yeah.
We aren't in Schmitty like watching them warm up. We aren't watching the doctors tape them up.
Yeah.
So it's like anybody out there on Twitter that says, nope, this isn't bad luck. This is absolutely the trainer's fault. This is absolutely. You are a 40-year-old man that watches them play on TV on Saturdays. You have no idea the first thing about medicine. You are probably overweight.
Probably never played football.
So
or
like
sports.
anybody that is out here saying that somebody whose probably life's goal was to work at OU football as like a sports medicine or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
maybe they are bad. I don't know.
Yeah.
But we don't know, and there's
Yeah.
no reason that you should be going out and saying like. There is plenty of reason to speculate. There's
Oh,
plenty
yeah.
of reason to be like,
Yeah.
this is kind of odd.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to be the guy that says it's the sports medicine guy.
No,
like,
yeah.
I'm- like
Yeah.
because we don't know.
Yeah.
But
I just want to
It's odd.
bring up the question. You know, there's no other school going through this. It's just something to think about.
I've also heard
It's just something to
I've
think
seen
about.
people putting it on the field
I have
because
seen
all
that.
of our injuries have been obviously here. None happened out on the road this weekend.
But I think of-
And a lot of
Interesting.
teams that came here had injuries here.
Dude, I was watching the game, the Tennessee game, and they were talking about the grass.
Mhm.
Kurt Herbstreit and Chris Fowler were talking. They were like, there was a segment like between plays, and they're like, that grass looks a little thick, don't it? It's hard to run in there. And Kurt Herbstreit was like, no, it's just grass. But even the commentators were commenting on like the field conditions.
Yeah.
But I think, for me, I guess before this was my thoughts before the grass thing. Grass thing could be whatever because not every. The one thing that about grounds crew people is that they always are like, one guy does this and the other guy will do something completely else and they'll never agree on it because they're like, this is how to make the grass better. No, this is how you make the grass better. And so, Jason Ferris was doing something. He was doing it for a long time and it was good. But I forgot the new guy's name. I don't know either. But it's not Jason Ferris, whatever your name is. Sorry. Respect to you, though. If you look at our receivers, it's very odd. But, like, Nick Anderson, non-contact, or quad injury.
And it wasn't on our field.
And
It
wasn't, what, like
out of-
rugby? Or whatever
probably
that
out of
is,
rugby.
or something.
Probably.
Yeah.
So you get that, and then he re-aggravates it. So it's like, okay, kind of a wash.
Yeah.
You get Jaden Gibson, he tore his ACL or something like that,
Yeah.
pretty much.
That was also not on our field.
Not on the field. And it's just like
Yeah.
everything, I feel like you can't blame. Andrew
Yeah.
Anthony is coming off of an ACL injury
That was at the
not
Cotton Bowl.
At
Yeah.
the Cotton Bowl.
Troy Everett was in the indoor.
So it's like,
So
you could say maybe nutrition, but it's like
Yeah. You don't know.
everybody-
Yeah.
I
You
don't
don't
know.
know.
I honestly just think it is insanely bad luck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, that's the thing. All I was doing is just bringing up the speculation.
Yeah.
You can't point anything.
Yeah.
But it is just oddly crazy that we're the only school dealing with this bad of an injury.
if I'm operations or
bug.
if I'm Joe C operations, that kind of guys, I would just do a light check-in on every department and be like,
Yeah.
hey, is everything going well? Is there any issues here? And like actually like maybe survey them for a day. One thing I'll say with the grounds is I've been down there. It don't look any different than last year.
Yeah.
It looked a little darker after having 3 straight home games, but the consistency of the grass looks the exact same. And I will tell you, BYU and Iowa State.
Awful.
Oh my god.
Oh.
And to be
It's probably
fair,
rock solid, isn't it?
BYU and Iowa State
It's
are in like a
slippery,
very
like it's not
Oh.
wet.
they're in like a cold environment. Like I remember the Iowa State game, there was ice when we got to the stadium in the morning, like just all over. But like those dude, those grasses, they're like super thick, super like they're wet, and like when your cleat can easily just like when you like hit a 8-iron, you suck at golf, and you pick up like literally a foot long of what do they call it? A beaver tail. Yeah, that happens so much at BYU and Iowa State. So it's like, if that's happening there there's not like a super weird statistic on injuries, then I don't think it's happening here. I don't think it's the grass. I doubt it's the sports doctors because, I mean,
we got the best of the best.
Yeah, I mean, you got Jalil Farouk. He literally broke his foot. Like, you can't blame that. Like, somebody probably landed on his foot.
Yeah, or Kendall, Dolby.
Yeah, Dolby, it's like you
can't blame that.
Okay.
Yeah. Or Dion.
Appendicitis.
Yeah, Dion
Burks.
The only ones that you really could say are
maybe like the ACL, like the non-contact
ACL and the quad strain are like, well, maybe they should have been stretched better.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's like,
but even then, I mean,
but then it's like the home player's issue. Like you should have stretched. I don't know. It is just something to think about. Why is nobody else dealing with this?
It sucks.
It just sucks.
And it's gonna hit us in 2 weeks. We'll play Texas.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
We just went.
That was a long one. I don't know how long we're at, but
it had to have been like
hour. You guys want to take a guess?
I would say an hour 20.
hour 40.
Hour 43.
Jeez, that might be our longest one. No, our first one's long.
Let's try and get to 2 hours, guys.
But yeah.
Let's just sit here and look at each other.
Okay. All right, guys.
You're from Nebraska.
Is there anything else? We went.
If there is anything else, let's not say it because we.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll get back to you Wednesday. Thanks, guys.